We're so glad you're chosen to spend some time with us today, and we'd just like to stand together and welcome each other into community this morning.
How's it going, Vision? Oh, so good to see all of you. It's so good to be here. What a wonderful day to celebrate our oneness. So, before we do anything else, let's pray in. I give great thanks for this place, for this space to come together, to know of ourselves, to know the truth, to know that God is one, that there is only one. There is one life, it is God's. It is whole, perfect, and complete. It is our life right here, right now. We know that we are some individualized thread in the tapestry of life. We know that all of us together make up this incredible, dynamic thing called life. And we know that spirit is more than that, and more than that, and more than that. I give great thanks for this time, this place, for each one of us, for those of us who have tuned in online, for those of us in the room, just knowing we come together to celebrate the truth of our oneness and give great thanks and gratitude. And so it is. So good morning. How's everybody? This is the last day, last Sunday, I should say, of Black History Month. And Hummingbird couldn't be here today. She spotlights usually a person, right, an African American in history, and she shines the light on them. And so she has given me that honor today. So I got to choose who I was presenting. I was so happy about that. And so today, I want to talk about Dr. Charles Drew. And I have a real personal attachment to that because this was someone that when I was in high school biology, I wanted to do a report on, couldn't find a lot of information about. It's really interesting. You know, back in those days, it was very difficult to find African American history in like the Encyclopedia Britannica or anything like that. So I got to do it today, and I'm really, really glad. So let me just tell you a little bit about Dr. Charles Drew, because a lot of our lives have advanced because of his contributions. He was born in June 3rd, 1904. He discovered the method for the long-term storage of blood plasma. That was his. He's known as the father of the blood bank. People don't really know that. He organized America's first large-scale blood bank. Now, when he went to school, things were really racially divided. He developed that later on, but in the early days, he was a student. He was very gifted athletically and academically. He was recruited in 1922, went to Amherst College in Massachusetts, but was not allowed to be the captain of his football team or stand out in any way. Then he went on afterward to do his postgraduate work, went to McGill, because of the narrow avenues through which African Americans could get educated back in those days. He went to McGill University for his medical degree, and that was in Montreal. And he was elected to the Alpha Omega Alpha, which is a medical honor society. He won the J. Francis Williams Prize in medicine. And in 1933, he received his MD and his CM, Master of Surgery degrees, and he was second in a class of 137. He went into the specialty of blood transfusion and blood fluid replacement to help to stem shock in patients. And so he worked with the bacteriology professor John Beatty, and they continued to train doctors in this transfusion therapy at the Mayo Clinic. But they put him in that place instead of joining the faculty because he wasn't allowed to do surgery on white people. He left there. He wound up joining the faculty at Howard University School of Medicine, and in 1938 earning a doctorate. I mean, this is just an amazing man. In 1938, he earned his doctorate at Columbia, and he won a fellowship to train at Presbyterian Hospital in New York. And it was there that they went further into this idea of separating the blood from the plasma. And he was granted a fellowship to he was granted a fellowship to make an experimental blood bank sort of thing. And this would keep him, again, from treating white people. So they gave him a special little assignment to do, and it kept him out of the regular rotation of surgeons. He created a paper, Banked Blood, a study in blood preservation, and the thesis made him the first African American to earn a medical doctorate from Columbia. His findings, complex procedures and standards for collecting, processing, and storing blood proved his expertise and led him to an appointment to head the Blood for Britain project. This was going on during World War II. It was an effort to transport desperately needed blood and plasma to Great Britain, which was, of course, under attack from Germany. When that program ended in 1941, they had collected over 14,000 blood donations and shipped by the Red Cross over 5,000 liters of plasma saline solution to Britain, and it saved countless British soldiers' lives. He created the first blood, what do they call them? Bloodmobile. He designed and created the first bloodmobile collecting unit in 1941. His program became the pilot program for the Red Cross for these mass plasma collecting drives. And he was the assistant director of the National Blood Donor Service, which he found a little irritating, considering at that time African Americans were not allowed to donate blood. His work sealed his reputation and earned him the title, the father of the blood bank. And even after African Americans were allowed to donate blood, they were not allowed to donate blood to white folks. That led him to withdraw from that particular board. He's found the upholding of racial segregation of blood throughout the war very irritating and criticized it as unscientific and insulting to African Americans. In 1941, he returned to Howard University, where he remained for the next 9 years, serving as the head of the Department of Surgery and chief of surgery at Freedman's Hospital. His mission was to train young African American surgeons who would meet the most rigorous standards of any surgical specialty and place them in strategic positions around the country where they could, in turn, nurture the tradition of excellence. He believed that this would be his greatest and most lasting contribution to medicine. He also campaigned against the exclusion of black physicians from the local medical societies, medical specialty organizations, and the American Medical Association. Dr. Drew died in 1950 in a car accident on his way to a conference that he was attending. Someone fell asleep at the wheel. And there was an old myth going around that he bled to death outside of the hospital because the hospital was for whites only. That is not true. He was actually admitted and treated. His injuries were so severe. The African-American surgeons he was traveling with attested to the fact that he was treated, but the extent of his injuries was so severe. He did pass away in 1950, but we owe much of what we know and how we treat blood and blood products and how we keep everything clean and sterile to Dr. Drew and his amazing talent and his amazing genius. So there you go. Didn't know that before, you know it now. Let's see, what can I tell you? Let me talk to you a little bit about practitioners. We have practitioners all the way around the room, right? Raise your hands, practitioners. Look at all these lovely practitioners. These are the people that pray for us all the time, every day. They pray for us. We have prayer request forms in the bulletin. Fill it out. If you leave your phone number on it, we'll call you at home. We'll pray with you over the phone. However you'd like to be served in prayer, we will put a prayer on your voicemail. That's always lovely. Then you can listen to it over and over, right? You know, yeah, you do it. Please fill them out. Please get prayer. Please just know that prayer changes things. And online, we have our meet and greet room. So after the celebration today, go into the meet and greet room. We'll have practitioners there as well. You can go to a little breakout room, get one-on-one prayer too, because we know what? Prayer changes things. Absolutely does. And I want to talk about this. We have welcome packets. It has a lovely greeting. You remember this one, right? Oh, yeah, and I know you do as well. We have this wonderful saying we say to our guests, we say for ourselves, just to remind us, and let's say it right now. You ready? Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here, you are safe, and you are loved. I will turn it over to our marvelous celebration singers who are going to sing our centering song to prepare us for our 5-minute meditation. Thank you.
I'm a licensed spiritual counselor here at Vision. Please take these quotes into your heart as we move into the silence and allow the tones of the bowl to bring you into and out of a 5-minute meditation. The first one is by Carl Jung. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. And from our founder, Ernest Holmes, spiritual experience is deep, calm, and self-assertive. This experience comes in the stillness of the soul, when the outer voice is quiet. It is a quickening of the inner human to an eternal reality. The memorial candle is lit today for Ron Moore, beloved husband of my friend Lisa Moore, and for all of those who have made their transition in Ukraine and around the world this week. And we know that there is no finality in death of the body. We know that it is merely a transition into the next experience, and that experience is complete and total love. And so I know that being one with all there is, that I can clearly know and in my bones know that all is good, that everything is working for our highest and greatest good, and that we are here to remind ourselves of our oneness with God. There is nowhere where God is not. And I know that this service is serving all of us as that wonderful reminder, as Reverend Patti speaks, as we hear the songs, the singer, the technical, Mark at the piano. Everyone here is one, and we are so excited and so happy to have this community and to be on this planet and to know that everything is working for our highest and greatest good in all aspects of our lives: health, money, everything, relationships. And it is with great joy and with great laughter and great power that I release this into the law, knowing it is already done, and so it is.
Our soloist today is really a revered songwriter and singer in San Diego. I've known her for a long time peripherally, but we've gotten to know each other the last few times she has performed here at Vision. You know her, you love her, Lisa Sanders.
With all that's going on, I thought I chose this song because sometimes when we take a break and commune with God and dream and know that everything's all right. I was tired, I went to bed, and while I slept, there were dreams in my head of oceans so blue. I'm stranded on an island. I walked alone along the sand, and something came over me, felt like a wave, and pushed me down to the shore. Spotted a jewel in the sand, and out to sea it went. Out there I swam, and she sang to me, sounded like an angel. And the sun beat down, and there's a smile on my face, Song so dear to me, you touch my heart in the deepest place. Next thing I knew, we were carried away into the jungle. We were not afraid of snakes and things, singing all around us, and the sun beat down, and there's a smile on my face. Song so dear to me, you touch my heart in the deepest place. In my dreams, did I cry out? Did I call to you in the middle of the night? Did we sing? Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. The sun beat down, and there's a smile on my face. Song so dear to me, you touch my heart in the deepest place. In the deepest place. The deepest place.
We just have the best music here at Vision. Yes, we do. So here we are, the last Sunday in February. It is the last talk of the month's theme, Living Everyday Wonder, Inner Life. And so today's talk is inner and outer. Inner and outer. You know, I know that you hear the saying, probably quite often in New Thought communities, that says, your thoughts create reality. Well, I don't know about that. What I know is your thoughts create your reality. My thoughts create my reality, right? My thoughts create my context through which I see reality. That's why, you know, when you go to a family reunion and your siblings remember things like totally different than the way you remembered them, right? It's like you listen to them and it's like you had 8 different sets of parents, you know, because nobody remembers it quite the same way. And it's because we're all remembering through our own context. So we do create our own reality because we create it, we look at it through our own context, through the lens of our own experiences, our own emotions, everything that we brought to that particular event. James Allen, who was an English philosopher, said, as a man thinks, so he is. And as he continues to think, so he remains. Right? So we keep thinking the same thing over and over again. Ernest Holmes used to say, when we keep thinking the same things over and over again with monotonous regularity, the same stuff outpictures over and over again. Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking, change your life. There you go. This is the inner-outer thing. You've got to change what's inside first. This is truth, right? When we keep thinking the same things over and over again, and we keep outpicturing the same kinds of conditions over and over again, we know that it has to come from the inside. And you know, I was reading an article in Forbes magazine, which, honest to God, I never really thought of Forbes as the bastion of New Thought, but I mean, I was really surprised. But anyway, they had an article that said, the link between thoughts, feelings, and behavior And the article said this: your thoughts are the catalyst for self-perpetuating cycles. What you think directly influences how you feel, which then directly influences how you behave. So if you think you're a failure and you feel like a failure, then you're more likely to act like a failure, which reinforces your belief that you must be a failure. Right? And they encapsulated that so perfectly. I was like, wow, they need a medal for that. Anyway, so we draw conclusions about ourselves first. It all happens in our head. This is all a thing of thought. We draw a conclusion about ourselves. And then we do two things based on that conclusion. We look for evidence to prove our conclusion, and we disregard anything that contradicts our conclusion, right? We carry around our little briefcase, la, 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 like we're going to work every day, and we open up our little briefcase, and it's like, and this is me, and this is me. Here, you can have a sheet, you can have a sheet, and it tells you all about me and who I am, and I want to enroll you in my story about me, right? Because I need to gather evidence that what I think about me is true, and you can reinforce that, right? That we're broken, or that we're too old, or that we're too young, or that we're too short. I had that one time. Someone actually did say, do you think you're tall enough to be a minister? I thought that was so funny. Anyway, so we have these little briefcases. We carry around all this documentation about all of our false beliefs, and we want to enroll people in it because it supports the thought that came first. And then when we do succeed at something, right, say we go with that failure thing, the Forbes magazine, if we do succeed at something, we chalk it up to luck. It's not us. We're the failure, right? We have the evidence to say the failure. So when things come out wonderfully, oh, that wasn't us. That's just luck. Well, Marcus Aurelius said a man's life is what his thoughts make of it. And that's really true. If we want to change the outside, we must first change the inside. And that's what Ernest Holmes' teaching really is all about. That whole change your thinking, change your life. That's what this is about. Things, what do you say? Thoughts are things. Thoughts are things because they wind up out picturing eventually as conditions of your life. So if we want to change the outside, we have to change the inside first. We have to change the attention, right, of our thoughts. Because what we think influences how we feel, and then how we feel influences how our body reacts, and how our body reacts absolutely influences how we behave, and then how we behave defines who we are in the world. You know, we used to talk about this in practitioner training. We used to say, everything begins in thought. Everything begins in thought. And if it is a false thought that we're holding, right, to be true for us, that thought sets up a feeling in our body. That feeling then becomes an emotion that we display to the outside world. It becomes that behavior in which we engage over and over and over again to reinforce the feeling is true, to reinforce, if you go way back, that the false thought is true. And Ernest Holmes said, no matter what the lips may be saying, the inner thought outspeaks them. Now, just breathe that in, right? That's that, giving lip service to all those things, all those, I would say, like everything is bad, but, we're just going to put a happy face on it. We're just going to put a smiley face on it. Again, putting the smiley face sticker over the check engine light, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to pretend it's not there, right? Whatever the lips may be saying, the inner thought outspeaks them. You can't just give lip service. Your affirmations cannot just be, a lot of this. You're doing this, I want you to do this. And think about and change the thought that drives it, right? I know that we always talked about this in training our practitioners. When someone comes in and there's a thing going on and they're upset about something or they want something changed, there's an emotional hook there, okay? And when you go back behind the emotional hook, well, what's the feeling? What is the feeling that generates that outward thing? And the feeling is based on the false belief. So you go back in, deeper and deeper. And then you look at the false belief and you're like, oh, okay, well, clearly, if we go back to the Forbes article, clearly there's a false belief in lack, right? Or whatever. And so we provide that spiritual mental equivalent. What is that? It is the truth of the situation, right? There's no lack in God. God never experiences lack. It's a ridiculous thought. God is abundance. God is, well, it's not up there. We have a whole banner of all the qualities of God. Well, April, Easter, that's when we put them up, Easter, okay. But there's a whole banner up there, imagine. And abundance is one of them. These are qualities of God to which there are no opposites. So God experiences abundance, and we experience abundance to the extent that we believe it, embody it, and demonstrate it. We have free will, so we can demonstrate as little or as much as we'd like, as we desire, as we think we're worthy of. If our false belief doesn't get in the way that we're not good enough, right? And we're not good enough. So our innermost beliefs set up those feelings, which then outwardly display themselves as emotions. We sabotage ourselves a lot of times because those false beliefs are the things that set those behaviors in motion. And then they run counter to our best interest, don't they? Even if we're affirming our little hearts out about how we are healthy and wealthy and we own a mansion and a yacht, I always think of Elmer Fudd, that cartoon. I don't know why. Elmer J. Fudd, I'm a millionaire. I own a mansion and a yacht. Okay, but if we don't believe it, I know, right? That's where I'm a Bugs Bunny person. Anyway, if we don't believe it, it's just so much lip service, right? So we have to go in there and we have to change the false belief, and we need to change our thinking, change our life. We need to replace the false belief with something in truth, right? Our true beliefs will set up behaviors that will then reinforce our best and highest ideals. And then those are the things that begin to outpicture. Psychologist Amy Morin said, once you draw a conclusion about yourself, you are likely to do two things. Look for evidence that reinforces your belief and discount anything that runs contrary to your belief. And we do that all the time. You see it done all the time. I have a sister she is a devout Murphyist. She believes in Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and at the worst possible moment. And so everything that doesn't go right in her life, she points out. See, I told you. See, I told you. See, I told you. And if something good happens, she's like, oh, it's like, no, that doesn't count. I was just lucky. Right? Oh, no, that doesn't count. No. But this is my story. This is my narrative. So we have to look at what our narrative is. What's your narrative? Oh, man, my narrative is I'm whole, perfect, and complete, right? My narrative is I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise. My narrative is, all of those things. But if your narrative is no matter what, is happening in my life, it goes wrong at the worst possible moment, the universe says, yeah, okay, whatever, sure. The universe says yes all the time, doesn't it? It says yes all the time. It can only say yes. It can only support our innermost belief about ourselves. And so that's what we have to get in and change. So what do? How do we do that? We have to change our thinking. Well, what Ernest Holmes said. Change your thinking. Come on. There you go. We know the rest. Change your thinking, change your life. Ernest Holmes said we can do this. And he said we can do this even if we do not remember where those negative feelings came from. And isn't that a blessing? That's the biggest blessing of the whole thing. We don't have to know where those specific things came from. We don't have to spend 30 years in psychotherapy to find out, my mother said, I'll never do math well, I mean, we don't have to go back and do that stuff. Ernest Holmes said we can still change our thinking, change our life, even if you can't remember what that limiting thought was. Sometimes we will never know where that limiting thought came from. It may have snuck into us before we were even verbal. Babies are born with two fears, right? The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. So what if your house, when you were brought home as a newborn, was a real loud and noisy place? And so the feeling that was set up in that infant was the place is not safe, right? Because that's a number one fear of loud noises. So what if that's what this baby was raised with? Wow, the earth is not a safe place to be. That's a false belief that was set up pre-verbal, before you even had words for it. You're not going to remember that. You're not going to remember that in 30 years of psychotherapy either. You're just not going to remember it. But what Ernest Holmes said is we can cure it. We can heal it. We can put those positive affirmations in place and those positive thoughts. We can change our thinking, change our life, right? We can do that. In Basic Ideas of Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes said, you get rid of negatives by implanting positives. Negatives cannot exist where positives fill the space. When the sunshine of love, confidence, fills your whole being, the darkness of negatives must disappear. Right? Ernest Holmes said, healing is our birthright. We are not here to live lives of limitation and lack and struggle and loneliness. We are here to live the biggest, brightest, fullest idea that Spirit has for our life. And when we can replace those thoughts of lack and limitation with the truth of abundance, it's work, but so is going to the gym, right? You don't just go to the gym once and, okay, done with that. Don't have to ever do that again. Right? It's an everyday thing. It's a practice. Going to the gym is a practice. Toning up your muscles is a practice. I know, because I do that all the time. It is a practice. But your spiritual exercise is just the same type of thing. It's a practice. You have to do it every day. Every day we can replace thoughts of loneliness with the truth of unity, thoughts of lack and limitation with the truth of abundance. We can replace thoughts of hatred with the truth of love. One thought at a time, thought by thought, we change our thinking and we change our lives, and it works. That's what this philosophy is really all about. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "A man is what he thinks about all day long." So what is your predominant thought? Because that's what Ernest Holmes said, right? The universe is listening all the time to us. And it responds to us, and it outpictures based on our most predominant thought. So what's the thought that fills your mind when you don't think you're thinking? Right? What's that thought that just goes through your mind? Is it thoughts of joy and love and abundance and opulence and delight and beauty, right? Or are they thoughts of struggle and suffering and, it's up to you. It's your head. It's your thought. See, our problem, quote unquote problem, our problem is not the problem. Our problem is how we think about our problem. Right? Our problem is never a problem. Our problem is always how we think about our problem. And on this spiritual path that we are on, it is a path of integration, isn't it? It's a path of wholeness. Not to attain wholeness, but to reveal wholeness, because it's there all the time. It's in there all the time. We evolve into our wholeness. We evolve into our authenticity. We evolve into this bright and beautiful spiritual being that we are, but we are that all along. We are that all along. We evolve to reveal this wholeness that we are all along. And our soul is guiding us all the way, if we listen. Our soul is guiding us, pulling us forward, or pushing us forward, or kicking us into place sometimes. I mean, whatever it takes. Our soul is forever guiding us. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Right? So this journey into wholeness is then the release, really. It is the release mechanism. It is the release of the coping skills. It is the release of the walls we built and the denials we've employed and all of the things that we've done to get through life, to get through the tough places. All of those things we've built around ourselves to protect ourselves from those people out there, whoever they are, right? To protect ourselves, to guard ourselves from the hurt, to guard ourselves from the failure, to guard ourselves from the disappointments. So that now then, this journey into wholeness that we are walking is getting rid of all that stuff, right? One by one, wall, and denial and limitation and all of the stuff that we've guarded and protected ourselves by, with, we have to then release. Because why? Because then we become the captives of our own self-protection. It is a drain on our soul when we are inauthentic, when we're saying one thing and doing another, when we're off track, when we're affirming something but feeling something else, and we think we're fooling ourselves, right? It is a drain on our soul. Ernest Holmes in Cosmic Light said we need to break through our habitual thought patterns, which repeat themselves with monotonous regularity. We could not do this if there were not a transcendent pattern for us, if there were not a light beyond our darkness. Our soul knows this. Our soul knows this. There is a great and glorious and wonderful version of you, the truer spiritual you than you've ever let peek out. You know, like sometimes you let it peek out just a little bit, and you're totally, absolutely, divinely delighted with life, and then you pull it back in because you're afraid somebody will see it and squash it, right, or step on it. This is the work of becoming. Not becoming something else, but becoming our true selves, right? No longer restrained by the false limitations and the self-protection modes and the walls we built. This is our authentic self that's just longing to be out there. When we replace the negative thoughts with the positive thoughts, that's one step in this journey. And what else can we do? What else can we do, right? So the first thing is to go in there and replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. But other things that we can do is to list your core values. What would your core values be? Love, joy, truth, honesty, whatever. And then make a list of all the activities you do that is in alignment with those core values. How much of those core values do you actually act on? Do you put into practice? Do you live? You know, if one of your core values is friendship, how many friends do you call, right? How many friends do you reach out to? Who do you connect with? If your core value is honesty, how much do you tell the truth and how much do you fib? How much do you fudge the truth, right? You have to look at these things. Now look at the core values you have where you have very few actions to support that value. This is where you're in conflict. Do you see? I have a core value of this, but I'm not doing it. I'm doing this instead, right? This is where we're in conflict, and this is what's so draining on our lives. This is what's so draining. If one of our core values is friendship, but we find ourselves alone every day, that reflects a conflict between your core value and your action, between your inner and your outer self. And when your inner and outer are in conflict, that's what's a drain on our souls. Where there is conflict between our thinking and our acting, right, there must be healing into wholeness. That's where we place our attention. So either our core value is not true, and we have to re-examine that, or we're not acting on a core value that we must, to make ourselves that demonstration of wholeness. We must do the work. We must do the work. Right? So what are your core values, and which ones are you acting out, and which ones are you ignoring? You know, there's an old saying, when you ask a person where they're going, you listen to the tongue in their head, but you look at the tongue in their shoes. Because they may be headed in a direction that's totally opposite of what they're telling you they're doing. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, how many of us are listening to the confusion of the world today and all the words that go to make up this confusion? And he wrote this many, many years ago, and I think about it today. It's very prescient. In the face of all this confusion, we can speak the word of peace. And we can speak the word of peace with authority, because we know that behind humanity's conflicts, there is always the peace of God, which is never disturbed by our strife and struggle. When we become disturbed inside about anything, then it is the moment to be still and say peace. When we're afraid of anything, it is the time to speak the word faith. And when we become angry and listen to words of hatred, then it is the moment to use the word love. Those qualities of God are always there, regardless of the condition, regardless of what we're looking out at the world today, regardless of what's going on. Peace of God is always there. The love of God is always there. I know that we're all thinking about Ukraine and what's going on. And this quote is really, it really touched my heart, because this is what I can do. I can be peace. I can know peace. I can demonstrate peace right here. And I know that this room can do the same thing. And I know if this room can do the same thing, 10,000 people out there can do the same thing. And then 10 million, and then 7 billion. We can do that. We can know that. I know that like none of us here are going to grab an AR-15 and go rushing over there and, and help support Ukraine that way. But how can we? And this is one of the most powerful ways to do it. I had the quote from Gandhi, which I love, 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 where he says, "Prayer is not an old woman's idle amusement. Properly understood and applied, it is the most potent instrument of action." That's what we can do. That's what we can do. Know peace. When we speak into the confusion with power of the universe behind us, we transform hate into love, and chaos into peace, and fear into faith. We have to affirm the truth in the face of conditions to the contrary. We have to know the higher truth right there, right in the midst of what looks like tragedy. There's a group called Optimists International. I know you guys know it. And I don't know is Sir Optimists attached to it? I don't know. Anyway, it's Optimists International. They were formed way back when, 1912, I think. And they have a creed that they live by. And then I researched it, and I found that the creed was actually written by Christian Larson, who is a New Thought writer and a contemporary of Ernest Holmes. And it was originally published under the name Promise Yourself. He wrote it in 1912. The Optimists International adopted it, and they use it as the Optimist Creed. And it says this: "Promise yourself to be strong so that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. Talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. Make all your friends feel that there is something worthwhile in them. Look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. Think only the best, to work for only the best, and expect only the best. To be enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. Forget the mistakes of the past and press on to greater achievements of the future. To wear that cheerful expression all the time and give a smile to every living creature you meet. To give much time improving yourself so that you have no time to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. To think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words, but in loud deeds. To live in the faith that the whole world is on your side, as long as you are true to what is best within you. Everything begins there. Everything begins in the inner and moves outward into our experience. And as we change our thinking, we change our lives. From false beliefs to eternal truths, we evolve into the wholeness that we have been all along. And we demonstrate an expansiveness never before experienced. We live in a universe of thought. Make them good ones. Thank you.
With all my heart for that. It was amazing, as usual. Funny thing is, I always pray before I go to sing for you on what I should sing. And this songs that I chose today happened to be spot on. This is called Unicorn. and it's where I go when things are troubled in the world. I've been wandering around in my town, talking to myself about what's going down. Cops, guns, politics, and people fighting. So I go home, sit in front of my TV, thinking that a comedy would set me free. While I'm watching, the news breaks in with more bad news. But in my mind I see unicorns and rainbows. I'm singing about love as long as I'm able. My glass is half full, I'm swinging on up in cloud. Love's all around me. Love's all around me. Lately I've been thinking about the color of my skin, thinking about it more than I did way back when. Outside there's judgment, inside I'm red and I'm bleeding. So I spend more time with my family and friends, thinking that I'll find my joy again. Outside they're marching in the streets and people are shouting. But in my mind I see unicorns and rainbows. I'm singing about love as long as I'm able. My glass is half full, I'm swinging on up in cloud. Love's all around me. Hey, that's my brother and my sister over there. Hey, don't they know we're only humans, only humans, only humans. In my mind I see unicorns and rainbows. I'm singing about love as long as I'm able. My glass is half full, I'm swinging on up in cloud. Love's all around me. In my mind I see unicorns and rainbows. I'm singing about love as long as I'm able. My glass is half full, I'm swinging on up in cloud. Love's all around me. Love's all around me. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. No power greater than love. God's love. Thank you. Grateful to be here.
You know, the music is always perfect, isn't it? I mean, it's always the exact perfect song for the talk. Thank you so much. You know, that's because I trust my music director and I trust the musicians we hire, and most of all, I trust Spirit, and I know it'll just deliver the right song at the right time. Thank you so much. It was perfect. It was just beautiful. Okay, now it is time for our, where am I? Conscious circulation. Lost my train of thought. Woo woo. It is time for conscious circulation. Oh, my train left the station. I wasn't on it. This is our opportunity to give back to Vision. If this is the place where you're spiritually nourished, I would think so. That's why you're here. So thank you for your support. Thank you for allowing us to do what we do, which is here and outside in the community in every way that we can demonstrate Spirit the way that you want it demonstrated, right? The way that you align with Spirit in the world, and this is what we do. So if this is your place, thank you for your donations and support and tithes, and let's pray. Let's pray. Let's just go within and know that God is abundance. It is one of the qualities of God. It is the quality of us. It flows through us and as us. We see it all around us always. The nature of Spirit's abundance is revealed always in blades of grass and leaves on trees and sand on the beach. And everywhere you look, you see the natural abundance of Spirit. And we know that it is a quality of us as well. So we stand in the river of God's abundance, and we stand open-hearted and open-handed, and we receive gratefully, and we give graciously, and we remain in the flow, giving great thanks for this truth. I simply let it be, and so it is.
I give, so do I receive, offering my first and best. As I give, so do I receive, knowing how I've been blessed. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive, back to where my soul is fed. As I give, so do I receive. Thank you for my daily bread. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive.
Now is the time for the Miracle Minute, and I did get a demonstration of answered prayer. I just love this. And this is from Barbara C., and she said, it may sound small, but she's been looking for this for over 15 years, so there's a demonstration of answered prayer. She's looking for a company that she could align with that has Christmas or holiday parties. She said she discovered many therapists and therapy organizations tend not to have them. And she got hired in a place in December that has a Christmas party, yay, and quarterly picnics. Okay, so they have like real social get-togethers. And that's a wonderful thing. It took 15 years, she said, but hey, See, and now this is the thing, God's not late, but God's very rarely early either, so you just have to go with it, just go with it. Anyway, she said she went on to say, I applied for and got a mentor through a professional organization also I belong to, and it's a new program, and I'm looking for a work mentor for a long time, and there it is, it manifested. So yay, I love that. So thank you for that demonstration of answered prayer. And just keep looking, be on the lookout, because you know that answered prayer happens all the time. You have your mind set on something and you let it go, which you're supposed to. That's step 5 of our affirmative prayer, right? To release. So you release it. And then when it shows up, sometimes it surprises us. Sometimes you don't even recognize it as what it is. But keep watching and keep emailing me so that I can share with the group. And now you know what time it is. It is time for the last word by Johnny Kirko.
I don't understand that. What's a girl from Ipanema or something like that? I don't understand that. Doesn't matter. Hello, everybody online. Hello, everybody. So, Vision meet and greet right after our celebration. Join us for one-on-one prayer as well as a group who are online. Say hello. Also, Coffee Connection continues Monday through Friday, led by Reverend Lori Sheets. Join us at 8:30 in the morning to say hello to your Vision friends and family. We love to see you and hear from you. So, join us there at 8:30. Links are available on the website as well as on Facebook right now. This Saturday, Jacob Glass will be with us right here in this room, 10 a.m. Come and join Jacob Glass, and what a 2-hour ride you get to go on, let me tell you. He has so much information, it's amazing. He's one of the most spiritual guys I've ever met, but there's a little bit of language in it, so just know coming in, we all blush when we're in this room, let me just tell you. He doesn't blush, but the rest of us do. See you on Saturday at 10 o'clock. So Hummingbird Dixon has got a couple things going on. First, she's got a workshop called Balancing the 7 Chakras that she'll be starting on March 21st. You can find the information more about that on the website. Also, she's got a book study coming up called It's All About Love, and that's also a workshop, that's a book study that'll be, I think there's 4 weeks, so join her for that. Links are available on the website, and you can find out more information about both of those. We'll keep on talking to you guys before they happen. Next week, Reverend Patti Paris will be back. Her talk title is God at Play. God at Play, that sounds fun. And we have Kenny Dye in the house band who's going to be with us. Yes, yes, yes. And speaking of music, how about Lisa Sanders today? I love Lisa Sanders. And, and this week I'm going back and forth with, I never do talking to the musicians, and I'm back and forth, and she's telling me, anyway, great music. Good job. Thank you, Lisa. Also, So, Higher Vision Choir, Mr. James Vandenberg, you have something you want to talk about.
Yeah, you know, it was exactly to the day, 2 years ago today, that we had our last choir Sunday here at Vision. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And what a day it is. But we're getting the band back together, and we would love for you to be a part of this. We're starting over, basically, right? Like, we've had people that moved away, people that have retired, and all these things. So we're starting brand new. So if you've ever wanted to sing with the Higher Vision Choir, or even had an inkling or know someone who might, come on. We'll be starting on March 15th. It's a Tuesday night right here in this room. The only thing we're still asking is that everyone singing is vaccinated, because we're just trying to do that extra step to take care of each other and our communities. So that's where we are right now. We'll keep you posted, but come and join us, or just ask me. I'll help you. It's 6:45 to 8:15 on Tuesday nights. We'll start on the 15th. Easter is April 17th, and then we'll take it the next step then. But for now, that's our step.
Choir is back. Yes, Mark.
I want to talk about the Bodhi tree thing for 1 second.
Okay, Bodhi tree.
On March 12th, we're going to have an amazing event in here. How many of you are familiar with the great actor Victor Mature, right? His daughter, Victoria, is a friend of mine, and she is doing a show here on March 12th where she is going to be singing duets with her father. And so my friends are the producers of Bodhi Tree concerts. So that's happening here on the 12th. So it's probably going to be sold out. So I'm trying to tell all of you, since we're not part of the Bodhi Tree thing. So if you're interested in checking this out, we'll have something next week up there.
Yeah, there's flyers in the foyer over there too. So if you want to read about those, because all the Bodhi Tree concerts that are going on, we did a couple last year during COVID. So they're coming back because they like the room, they like what we do here. So it's really exciting to be working with them. Amazing music, and Victoria's really cool. I've got a chance to. She's coming in practicing in here.
She looks like her dad. It's kind
she
of
does.
wild.
It's pretty cool. So. And actually, from what I saw, she's in a couple of his films way back when, and she's going to be showing a little bit of that too. So it's kind of it. We won't be. I don't know about the stream. I will find out.
Not.
If it's streamed, I will let you know about that as well. So, but that'll be good. I want to say a couple more things. Happy birthday to Mr. Mike Nitis today. I also want to thank everybody who brought food last week and shared that. That was so cool. Thank you. And I want to also mention to you, and I know Larry wants to hear this, we are going to be starting up our food once a month, starting it up here next month. So once a month, we will try it out, see how it works. We want you guys back in this room, and we'll bring you by food. If that's what it takes. If that's what it takes, we're bringing you, because we have cake. We don't have cake today, but we always have cake. So what's that? Oh, we do have cake today. Janet, Janet Poser made that for us, so thank you very much. Yes. So we do have some food, some cake, and some good stuff. Anyway, hope to see you guys real soon and next week. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yay. And what is that Sunday we're going to start hospitality up? What Sunday of the month is it? We haven't decided yet. It'll be a surprise to me as well. Well, I just love that. We're going to stand up and we're going to say our affirmations. These affirmations come to us by way of Betty Brink, our awesome volunteer in the office who finds our quotes and finds our affirmations or thinks our affirmations up. She's just wonderful. We're going to say these together. We know this is the truth for us. Are you grounded? You ready? Let's do this thing. What I search for outside can be found inside. My inner peace and harmony is matched by my outer well-being. Every cell in my body vibrates with positive energy. And I love that number 3. It just absolutely tingles every single part of my body. Does it you as well? Is it just me? No, come on, you do it too, right? Okay, number 3 it is. Every cell in my body vibrates with positive energy. Oh, absolutely. Going within in prayer one more time here this morning, knowing that God is one. There is only one. There is one life, one energy, one universal intelligence. We know that it is everything. It is everything. From the ground on which we walk is the body of God. It is that natural and logical outpicturing of this sentient energy that knows of itself and knows of itself in form. And all life everywhere is that. It all goes back to this oneness. There is God. That's it. And each one of us is an outpicturing of that spirit that has just sought and found a way to experience all of life through form, and we are that. And so are the trees and the animals and the bugs and the fish and everything. Everything is the outpicturing of spirit. So we know we live in a universe of spirit, and it is guided and directed by thought. And our lives are guided and directed by our thought. We make them good. We make them the highest and the best. And we evolve into that being, that peace of God, that love of God, that joy of God that we are. Giving great thanks, I simply let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, together all are we. When we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyful vow.